Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to achieve a blend, you know, on your eyelids, how to blend out eyeshadows. This technique is really easy. It's easy to follow. It's a really easy concept, and if you're a beginner or you're just starting out in makeup or you just want to understand more about techniques, then this may be for you. And if you think it is, then keep watching. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to be showing you a really easy way to blend out your eyeshadows. I've used this technique before, especially when I first started off with makeup. Obviously now I use a different technique, but that could be like an advanced kind of thing that I can show you guys later on if you would like. But I'm just going to show you the basic one that's really easy to follow that will work every single time. So first thing I like to do is I like to set down a base. I've used things like concealers, paint pots. At the moment I like to use the P. Louise base. This is really good, but if you don't have this, a paint pot would work or a concealer would also work. I think for today I'll use my paint pot. This is Soft Ochre by MAC. Whoa! By MAC. Obviously it is very well loved. And what I do is I usually get a really dense brush like this. There you go. Is it going to focus? Like that. This is the 142 Concealer Buffer Brush by Zoeva. And I just dip my brush into the product and I'll put that all over my lid. I'll zoom you guys into, by the way. Hello. So I'm just putting it down. If you use a really light base, it will make your eyeshadows pop a lot more, especially if you're working with colours. Laying down a white or a really light base will help so much. But if you're not and you're just doing neutrals like we are today, a base that's really close to your skin tone will work just fine. So I'm just blending that out all over my lid. And I like to extend it out slightly on the outer corners. So just like that. I'm going to show you guys one eye, then do the other eye off camera. Now, you can set your base down if you like. I tend to not to, because I find that if I want a lot of pigmentation, then it helps not to set it down. But you can, if you like, you can set it down with a little bit of translucent powder or a shade that's really close to your skin tone. For the sake of the video, I will set down my crease only with some powder. I'm just going to use the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I'll just grab a little bit of this on a fluffy brush. This is by, I'm pretty sure it's BH Cosmetics, this fluffy brush. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that powder and I'll just run that into my crease just to set it down. So I think for today I'm going to use the, oh, it's so bloody big I can't hold it, the James Charles and Morphe palette, because I feel like everybody has this palette. So it's like a good option. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the crease first. I'm going to lay down a light shade first as like a transition shade, so that then we can go on and build with the darker shades. So for that, what I might use is, I might use this cool tone brown right here on the same like fluffy brush, I believe this shade is called Punch Me. So that's a shade, Punch Me. I'm going to tap off any excess. This also helps, and it also helps to minimize the fallout. And then in circular motions, soft circular motions, I'm going to apply that into the crease. And then I also like to go in with windshield wiper motions. So just like this. So I'll use kind of like big circular motions here. And then I'll do some windshield wiper motions in the inner portion of my eye. Then I'll go back in with the same colour, tap off any excess, and really slowly build it up. Now, another thing you guys need to know is the blending brush that you use also has an effect, right? So if you have smaller eyes, there's no point in going in with such a big brush like this because you're just going to get it everywhere and it's going to become really, really messy. If you have small eyes, a good option is to go in with a smaller blending brush. So I've got this brush right here by BH. It's a number 2 brush. See how it's a lot smaller than this? This would be ideal for smaller eyes because then you can be more precise in your blending. Usually when you're doing a transition shade, it doesn't really matter, but if you want to be precise, I do recommend smaller brushes. But again, if you're going to use a brush like this, if you have smaller eyes for the transition, just make sure you don't go too ham. So now that we've laid down our transition shade, can you see how it's just that slight bit of color? It's not too much whatsoever. So now that we've got that down, we can go in with a step up in color, so a darker color. Not too dark, we're going to step it up. So what I'll do is I'll go in with this shade right here. It's like a browny orange shade. I believe this shade is called Code James. So again, I'm going to tap off any of the excess. And I'm going to focus it a bit lower than the transition shade. And again, I'm just using circular motions at the outer portion of my eye. And then as I come in, I'm going to start doing some windshield wiper motions. I find that this is easier because if you were to do circular motions here, you're going to get the eyeshadow going up too far. Now if that's the look that you're going for, fantastic, you can do that. If not, windshield wiper motions. So again, windshield wiper motions on the inner portion of my eye, and I'm really blowing it out on this outer portion here. Now, another thing, say for example, okay, so see here, I'm not that happy with the blend right here. I kind of want it to be a bit more blown out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same brush, but dip into Punch Me, that first shade that we used, tap off any of the excess, and I'm just going to go in between Code James and Punch Me, the original shade that we put down, and I'm just going to further blend Code James out. Okay, and then I'll go back into Code James and just intensify that shade ever so slightly, just a little bit. Now, a lot of the times you guys don't see, but blending takes time. Now, when we edit our videos, we obviously, cut out a lot of blending. But if you were to actually, sit down with us and actually see how long it takes to blend, you'll realize that it doesn't take just 2 seconds or 20 seconds. It takes, a good minute to get that perfect blend. Okay, so once I've got that down, I want to go in and darken up the outer corner and the crease. Now, to do that, I'm going to go in with the shade next to Code James. So this darker brown. See how it goes from, it jumps up in darkness? That's what you're doing. You're going to climb up the dark stairs. I believe this is 10% off. Yeah, this shade's called 10% off. Again, tapping off any excess. I also like to use my nail. And we're going to focus that right on the outer corner here. But obviously you want to keep some of those 2 shades that we just put down. You want to make sure you can still see them. And we're just going to put that down. Again, windshield wiper motions in the inner portion of the eye. And see how I've got the brush sitting like right here in here? This is my crease. So the brush is literally hugging my crease. And it's really helping me deepen deepen up my crease here. Also, I've changed blending brushes. This is the smaller blending brushes because I want to be a little bit more precise. Just going to continue to build this up. I also find that tipping your brush upwards like this and using the sides of your brush also helps with the blending. And then what I also like to do is I like to go in with the first brush that we used, no additional product on the brush, and just give it a once over, just to make sure it's all seamless. Okay, so to deepen up even more the outer corner, I'm going to go in with this shade called Benny. This, you can see it's a really, 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 really dark brown. I'm going to tap off the excess. Again, I'm using the same small blending brush, and I'm really gently just going to apply that to my outer corner. So just like that, I still have product on this brush, but I'm going to step away from the brush, grab my first brush that I used, and I'm going to go in and gently, very gently, using small circular motions, I'm going to blend that out really gently. Then I'll go back in with that brush that we put Benny on, the second brush, and I'm going to continue to put some products on. As I said, there's product still on this brush. I haven't re-dipped into the shade, but I'm just starting to kind of bring it in here. Right, so I'm going to step back again from this brush, go back in with this brush, and just blend it out once more. I'm not putting any additional product on this brush. Whatever's on this brush is what I'm using. If there's nothing left on this brush, then I'm just using it like that. I just want to make sure my blend is spot on. So again, just very gently, very carefully blending it out. So I'm really keeping the darkness of the shadow here on the outer portion of my eye. So again, going back in with that small brush, haven't dipped into the shade. I'm still using whatever's left on this brush, really angling it, like creating an angle here, just to lift my eye. And I'm just ever so slightly using the very, very tip of the brush. See how there's like a little tip on the brush? Very gently, just bringing it about halfway. See how light it is? Even though it's a dark color, you can just see it, you know, hugging my crease here with just the most smallest pressure. See that? Just gives your eye that bit of shape. And then again, very gently, just going over the edges. Now I feel like we're missing some of the warmth here, so I'm going to go in just a little bit into Code James. I'm going to tap off most of the product and very gently blend that out. Very gently. See how gentle that was? And then gently once more with that Benny shade. So that's what we've got now. I only dipped into Benny once and used whatever was on my brush for this. The only time I dipped in was when I used the Code James just then to help me blend out the edges and make sure I have that orange brownie tone popping through once more. Alright, now next is the lid shade. So what I like to do is I like to get a flat brush, like so, really flat, and I want to go in with this golden shade right here. And this shade is called So Good. Okay, so I'm going to apply this all over my lid. Now this look is really simple and perfect for every day because I feel like it's not too much. It's like just right. as you can see, I'm just applying it on. Now, if you're not confident in cutting your crease, you can use like the tip of the brush here to like just carve out that crease. But you don't have to do a cut crease. You know, you can create beautiful looks with just, you know, putting the lid colour on. Once we've got that on, what I like to do is see how it's, you know, a bit harsh here and it's not, you know, it doesn't seem seamless. What I like to do is I like to go in with the second shade that we used, which was the Code James, and I'm just going to pat it. I'm just patting it very lightly right here. See how that creates that beautiful blend there, and it all seems very, very cohesive. That's what you want. So that's the top of the eye done. Now for the brow bone, if you feel like you've gone way too far with your transition or your blending and you don't feel comfortable, you can always go in with a bone color or a color close to your skin tone and just take that down a notch. Blend the bone color or the shade that you're using and see how that just brings the shade down, the blending down, and it also helps to finish off that blend there. But what we're also going to do is we're also going to put a brow bone highlighter on. Okay, so for that we're going to go in with, oh, let me get this palette up, ring light just here. Okay, and then we're going to very gently put that on our brow bones. I'm just going to use my finger to gently brush that. Okay, and then I'll go in with the very first brush I used. Whatever's left off on this brush, I'm just going to use it to blend out that edge. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go off and do the other eye and my base so I can then show you guys what to do underneath. Okay, so I've done my base, I've done my lashes, and I'm going to continue on with the lower part of our eyes. So we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be starting off with the lighter shades first and then going in with the darker ones. So I'll go in with Punch Me, the first shade that we used as a transition, and I'm going to use a really small blending brush. You can see how tiny that is. This is the 224 Luxe Define Crease Brush by Zoeva. And I'm just going to really smoke that on my lower lash line. Now I'm not going to worry about circular motions, I'm just going to use windshield wiper motions. Now you can take this as far down as you like. I like to take mine quite far down, till about there, so it really hugs my eyeball. See how my eyeball finishes there? That's kind of like where I like my eyeshadow to go. Okay, then I go in with Code James, the second shade that we used, same brush. And really smoke that. Always making sure to tap off the excess. I'm just going to get a clean fluffy brush. This is by a no-name brand, I don't know whose brush this is. But I'm just going to go over the very edge of that shadow just to help me blend it out a little bit more. Like so. Now I'm going to go in with a really small brush. This brush is tiny, really small. Now this is the Morphe M149. I'm going to go into Benny, tapping off the excess, and I'm going to smudge it really, really close to my lower lash line. So I'm just wiggling it mainly into my lashes, and as I'm wiggling it, it's blending it out for me, so the brush is doing all the work. Really just wiggling that there, and see that? Just gives you a really nice smoky lower lash line effect. If you see how I'm holding the brush, I'm holding it vertical towards my lower lash line. So the point is facing upwards. And I'm just using the brush to help me blend that. And then I'm going to apply some bottom lash mascara. And for the inner corner highlight, I'm going to use Ring Light once more. Just here on the inner corner. And I'm just going to pat that. And as I pat it, it will blend itself out. See that? And that is how you get a really seamless blend. I feel like this technique is really easy for beginners. It's really simple, really easy to follow, and you do get such a beautiful blend as well. Okay, and here is the final look all together. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. If there's anything else you guys want me to show you, I can. Let me know. I'm here to help. And until the next one, I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye.